Hello friends, a very good evening to all. Welcome to the 21st edition of Coffee at DBG. Let me give you a quick introduction about Coffee at DBG. Coffee at DBG is an open interactive platform where technology enthusiasts from any company can walk in for free and share their knowledge. Coffee at DBG is conducted on every month, that is on first Wednesday of every month. And it starts with a Techbite where we do a quick recap of technology news that happens last month. After that will be a detailed discussion on any trending topic. Today we are going to discuss Sass. That session will be led by Mr. Shiraz. Since this is an interactive session, we would like to introduce the newcomers. If there is any newcomer, please introduce yourself.
Anil from eSoft.
Okay. I am Krishna Prasad from Triassic.
I'm Divya from Triassic Solutions.
I'm Anand from Triassic.
Hi, this is Sanoj from Triassic.
Satish from Explain Technologies.
Praveen from ET.
Arun from ET.
Jeffen from E-Team.
Nikhil from Experian.
Arun from Experian Technologies.
Srilega from Explorer Solutions.
Jamshid.
Sheena from Experian Technologies.
Hello.
Sarida from Experian Technologies.
Afsal from Experian.
Anoop from Experian.
Roy from Experian. Mahesh from Experian.
Vishwanath from Experian.
Jarin from Experian.
Nazim from Experian.
Rini from Experian.
Vishnu from XSR.
Harish from Experian.
Tibushaji from CET.
Jimmy Jose from CET.
Okay, welcome all. Now I would like to invite Mr. Tahir to start with the Techbite session. Thank you.
Thank you, Siju. Good evening. I'm Tahir. I'm working as a senior iOS engineer here at DBG. Welcome to Techbites. Techbites is all about the recent technological updates in the world. So this month's Techbites begins with WhatsApp Web. So WhatsApp has launched their new desktop version called WhatsApp Web. It's a web app rather than a native client. Right now, it seems to work well only with Google Chrome. And to log into WhatsApp Web, user need to scan a QR code which will mirror the messages and conversations from the mobile device to the WhatsApp Web. WhatsApp Web is available for Android, BlackBerry and Windows Phone users. Right now, due to some platform limitations, iOS users are not supported. So next is Microsoft HoloLens.
So, how many of you have started using WhatsApp Web? Is anyone? Okay. So those who have not used WhatsApp Web, so could you please explain the process at which they could use it?
Okay, to use WhatsApp Web, user need to scan a QR code. There will be a QR code. On scanning the QR code, user will be logged into WhatsApp Web. Okay. And the phone should be connected. If the phone is offline, then the session will be cancelled.
So it is not like a separate WhatsApp registration or anything like that. We should have a phone account, and then it is just synced with the web. So when the phone is connected, then only you will receive the messages through WhatsApp.
Yeah. Okay, moving on, Microsoft HoloLens. Microsoft in its Windows 10 event has introduced a new augmented reality headset called Microsoft HoloLens. It's a wireless it's a wireless headset and does not need to pair with a computer or a mobile device. It has its own CPU, GPU, and holographic processing unit. So let's see more about HoloLens in this video.
Is to visualize our work.
So that's all about Microsoft HoloLens. How? What?
In reality, we can see those things.
Yeah, it said that it will fuse the real world with digital world. So we can see digital objects in the real world.
How does that work? I want to do something like how that mapping or things are done.
I'm not sure.
It should be just the virtual reality that from.
I'm not sure about that. There's a headset, and I think Windows will provide more info about that. They have just introduced it. Okay. So moving on, Twitter has introduced two new features: group direct messaging and native video sharing. With group direct messaging, a user can send messages to a private group, and Twitter has added a new video camera and editing features to its Twitter app to support native video sharing. With native video sharing, it's just that users can upload their video content directly to Twitter, and this video should not exceed a limit of 30 seconds. And finally, Windows 10 event updates. So in the Microsoft Windows 10 event, they have provided a lot of data about the next generation operating system Windows 10, how it will work across mobile, tablet, desktop, and other platforms. The biggest surprise was the Microsoft HoloLens and the Microsoft holographic software that Microsoft developed to support the Microsoft HoloLens. It's an augmented reality extension of Windows 10. Okay. And Windows 10 will be a free upgrade for Windows 7, Windows 8.1, and Windows Mobile 8.1 users within a year of Windows 10. So Windows 10 mobile debuts with cross-platform features and Skype integration and some free apps such as Word, Excel, PowerPoint, etc. Windows 10 gaming is more social and interactive with the inclusion of Xbox, and Windows has also introduced a new web browser called Spartan. It's supposed to replace Internet Explorer.
So it will be a great relief for the front-end developers. Okay. Maybe.
Yeah, Spartan is supposed to be more faster, compatible, and useful, and it has some interesting modes like some reading modes and PDF readers.
It's a clone of Chrome, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
It's a clone of Chrome.
Okay, so that's all about Spartan and Windows 10, and yeah, I conclude this Techbites session. So now I invite Mr. Bibu to have a quick recap session. Thank you.
Thank you. So, welcome to another session of Coffee DBG. And how many of you have been part of last session where Praveen Vijayan talked about front-end, redefining front-end workflow? I will not be asking any questions. Okay. Okay, that's fine. So I will just do a quick recap on what we discussed last month. Is there anyone who want to do that? Faiz? Okay. So last month we have been discussing about the dramatic change that happened in the front-end workflow. Previously, previously we were just dealing with HTML, JavaScript, and CSS, but there are a lot of new technical terms that came into picture, right? Which make the front-end developers think that it is not something that is easy to adopt, because they think that it is very confusing and complex, right? So Praveen Vijayan gave a session where he explained how we redefined the front-end workflow in his company with all these tools. Okay. So in his session, he talked about Yeoman, Less, NPM, Grunt, Bower, Sass, SCSS, Stylus, Jade, Middleman, Jenkins, Brunch, Gull. So how many terms are familiar for you? Which are the terms that are familiar? Almost all the terms are familiar. So those who have started using the new front-end workflow, these terms should be familiar, but for others, the main problem is like relating this to where exactly it falls. For example, there are some languages, there are some tools, some items are process, some are standards, etc. So listening to a lot of new terms, and whenever we are trying to adopt these things, it is always confusing. So actually from the last session we understood that it is a little bit confusing, but it is not that much complex, and we should be able to do all these things, right? So this month we are about to deal about SCSS or SASS, or both same. Both are almost same, just some difference in syntax, right? So let's see what he explained last time. So normally, how do you start coding when you want to do a front-end? How many front-end developers are there? Almost all are front-end developers, right? So at my time, or long before, when I started doing the first CSS and stuff like that, I used to start with a fresh file, start writing the HTML, and CSS was embedded there, then started using some new file and added CSS there. But later, we started, that is when we have some CSS files already built, when we start a new project, we just reuse that CSS file. So that is what is, right now they are calling as scaffolding, right? So scaffolding is a process of you making use of something already existing and start working above that. So then we got a lot of CSS frameworks that was available. We just download it and start building above that. Then what is the difference that happened? What was the difference in that scaffolding process that Praveen Vijayan explained last month? There is nothing, but just these things were automated. Previously, we have to go and search for all these things, download all these things to our local machine. If there is some dependencies are there, all those dependencies also we need to download and start coding. Instead of that, he just showed how we can do it using Yeoman. Yeoman has some generators and we can use it to build all those frameworks to our local machines automatically. So once the scaffold is there, then he showed us how we can use the package manager npm to bring all the dependencies to our local machine. So normally we were doing it from scratch, one by one downloading. Instead of that, base will be there, then npm install one command. It will look for a file called package.json, right? And then all the dependencies will come to our local machine and it is ready, set to start coding. So making things easier. It is not complex, but it is just a little bit of confusion just because of lot of names in the space. So Yeoman, npm, we understood, right? Yeoman is just like a scaffolding tool which helps us to create the scaffold. And then npm is a package manager which helps us to get all those packages as well as get the dependencies. And for npm we need node install. Because previously we just, whenever we used to include some scripts or JavaScript libraries, the help file will say that hey, include this script in the head tag. That was the documentation. But right now we see that install Node.js, npm install, etc. That is the way it is starting. So actually it is not that much complex, but if we can follow each of these things, then we can understand that it is something simple, but little bit confusing unless we know what to use, where to use and when to use. Okay. So after bringing all these things, then Praveen Vijayan started coding in some language which we were not knowing. Because we were expecting him to write the code in HTML and CSS, and we were seeing that he is writing in something else with some alignments and stuff like that. So we were wondering what is this. So then he explained it is called Jade. Jade is a templating engine, and then he was writing SCSS with Java, CSS with some variables were declared, some loops, if condition, else condition, etc. Then we were wondering how could we do this in CSS and whether the browser will understand all these things, because we know that browser will understand only HTML, JavaScript and CSS. That is what we learned. So whether these things will be understood by the browsers. So that was the major confusion at that time. Then he told that no, it is not the way. These things are not directly passed by the browsers. Browser still knows HTML, JavaScript and CSS, but we use some build tools to generate HTML and CSS out of these templates. So that is where this gulp, grunt and all these things comes, which is known as build tools. So we use some other language, better CSS, like SCSS, and then write all those things efficiently or much quickly and generate normal HTML and CSS and provide to the development team. You just start using this HTML and CSS, while the front-end developers maintain its code in Jade or SCSS, etc. So that is what we learned last month. So once we understood that, then Yeoman, it's okay. It is just like a build tool. It's a scaffolding tool, and there is middleman and branch, right, etc. Those are also similar space. That is that those are also scaffolding tools. If we do not want to use Yeoman, we can use branch or middleman. So I will strike off those things. Then npm bower, right? Bower is something, another package manager. Gem is another package manager for Ruby. So these are package managers that help us to download these things. These are just tools. Then we learned about less Jade, SCSS, then stylus, etc. SCSS, stylus, less, etc. are CSS preprocessors. What is a preprocessor? It is just something that helps us to generate CSS. Okay. So there are a lot of preprocessors available, and this session what Shiraz is going to take is not to compare between these different preprocessors and help you to select which one is the best one, but it is just to help you start using any of these preprocessors, because it is just like these things help us to save a lot of extra effort, and why we are still going back to the old way when there are some new methods which help us to do things efficiently is available. Okay. So I would like to welcome Shiraz to give you a session on SCSS. So from the part what we discussed earlier, I will just do a recap again. We start scaffolding using some scaffolding tools. Then npm to bring all the dependencies there. Then we start coding in some new language, and then generate HTML, CSS, and then use it. So here something new is that new languages that we have to learn, and let's see whether it is so complex to adopt or not. If you know the basics of programming, this will be very, very simple, and it is not going to be any complex, and you can just sit back, relax, and enjoy the session. Thank you.
Thank you, Deepu. And today we will be discussing about creating maintainable CSS with Sass. Actually, I've seen some front-end developers here. Have you used Sass before? No. So, Sass, CSS with some superpowers. And we'll be talking about CSS preprocessors, then some a little bit of Sass, setting it up, some features. It's some basic features, but it's awesome. And yeah, this is what we'll be covering in this session. And to begin with, CSS preprocessors. Actually, CSS preprocessor is a program which extends the capability of CSS and gets compiled into regular CSS. Okay, these are some of the preprocessors. We have less, Sass, stylus, then CSS crush, then something called myth. Actually, the list is growing. And today I'll be talking about Sass, syntactically awesome style sheets. Okay. To begin with, first we have to set up Sass in a local development environment. Actually, the final output, one thing which I want to clarify is that only the final output will be deployed, and it's pure CSS. Okay. And first we have to install Sass. Sass can be installed in two ways. If you guys are comfortable with using command line tools, then definitely we can move forward with command line. I prefer command line. Okay. And make sure you have Ruby installed in your system. Okay. And I think for Linux and Mac users, Ruby will be installed by default. And if you are a Windows user, setting up Ruby was a bit tedious, and we have something which is called Ruby installer. There's a site called rubyinstaller.org. From there you can just simply download the installer file, and it's just a one-click install. nothing much complicated or something like that. From that, once you have installed Ruby, you have to run a command. It's called gem install Sass. Actually, gem is a package manager for Ruby. It simply gets us all the dependencies, whatever dependencies Sass needs to our local environment. That's it. Okay. This is how we can install Sass using a command line tool. And if you guys are not comfortable with command line tools, we have some applications. These are third-party applications, GUI applications. One of them is Scout, another is Compass. We have lot more other applications like preprocessors and something like that. Actually, today I'll be using Scout. Why? Because it's free. It's a free application. Compass costs around $10. That's why I'm using Scout. And what actually Scout does is it installs Ruby, and it also helps to compile your Sass to CSS file. And okay.
So, if there is any questions, feel free to ask. Because if we are unable to understand anything in the beginning, then we will continue till then. And we are at a stage that we can ask any questions. Silly questions can be asked.
You're on space type. You have probably you can just fill out the ID.
Actually, you can use any ID you wish.
May not be 2-3 steps. It comes in a single
You can hear. For less and Sass, all these come as a single, bookmark list. People have created those bookmark lists. You just have to go and install. All these get installed one after the other. And finally, at the max, if the gem is not there, maybe you just have to install the Ruby gem as the first step. But others, they get installed. You don't have to manually go and do all these one by one. Even Compass, along with the preprocessor, it comes as a package. And you just have to go to Eclipse, find the package for Sass or less, install it in one go, and you are done.
Actually,
we
never use
Eclipse
in our
Okay.
That's why I'm not covering. Actually, that's also a point. I have learned something like that.
We use Aptana Studio for our development. It's a free tool. The only reason is that it makes life a bit easier for people to jumpstart into development. So you don't have to gather much. So you, if it is like needs to be pulled from multiple sources, anybody can build in one machine, generate an XML bookmarklet, and share it across the team. So they just have to say install. Yes, that way.
Okay, those who are not aware of these things, don't worry about any of these stuff. So that is, we can just move forward and start how to install these things. And those who know about these things, just understand.
Actually, what he said is about our workspace, right? Yeah, we are using either Sublime or Atom. We never uses Eclipse or something like that. That's why I am covering like this. Okay. And this is the Scout application. Okay.
So where we were standing is like we were just trying to install these things, right? So we are, instead of using command line, we are trying to use a third party called Scout.
And I have to add that I have a folder in my local machine.
So first we have to go and install Scout in our machine.
Yeah.
Then open it and assign it to a folder.
Yeah. Just like that. And just choose my input folder. My input will be SCSS, and I always keep my input inside the SCSS folder. And my output to where my SCSS should compile to CSS and go. That's it. And click play. Scout will be polling for changes. We'll be looking for changes. Okay. Before installing Scout, actually, you guys have to install Java. Actually, Java is a different. And please try to use command line as much as possible, and that will give you some fine-grained control over your Sass and stuff like that. Because now front-end workflow is something which is moving really fast, and guys are using command line tools and something like that. And I've seen a lot of my colleagues, what to say, are hesitated to use command line, but it's not that much problem, I think. Just try it, and that's it. That's how we are here. It started compiling, and the process will carry on. If you are compiling the Sass file using a command line tool, sorry, if you are writing Sass and using command line, then definitely we have to compile a Sass file, and this is the way which we actually does. Actually, Sass watch the input SCSS file colon output SCSS file. If we want to watch a what to say, a full directory, then you can specify the path of the Sass directory, and next is the output directory. Okay.
So why is this watch? What is the
Actually, it will look for any changes. If I change something, this will be called, and all the processes, the CSS will, sorry, the Sass file will be generated to CSS. We have a lot more options like live reload, something like that. Hope you you know. Actually, we have.
Those of you who are familiar with auto build, it just means that when you hit Control S, things will auto generate. As simple as that. So you write your script in Sass. Say you don't have to go to your menu and say build or generate to generate your files. So whichever folder or file you save as watch, any change that you do, either in one file or multiple files, and the moment you hit Control S, the output will be generated.
Thank you. Yeah, yeah, sure. And that's it. That's for installing Sass. Hope you all guys are aware of what we have done. Okay. Actually, feel free.
Able to go and start using it. So for whatever reason, so you'll be able to install this thing and then select the source directly and target directly. And you get the basic setup for writing.
Okay. Going forward, today regarding Sass, I'll be talking about the syntax which we are going to use and some of the features that I have already mentioned, which includes variables, mixins, nesting, inheritance, partials, and operators. Okay. To begin with, syntax. When first Sass was introduced, the syntax looked something like this. It doesn't have a curly brace or a semicolon, just intended codes. And really it was painful to debug. And when first Sass was introduced. Later, I think in version 3.0, Sass got upgraded and the file extension also got upgraded from .sass to .scss, and the syntax looks almost similar to CSS. It had those curly braces, those semicolons and stuff like that, and it's now easier to have a quick look and know what's actually happening there. Okay, that's about the syntax, and today I'll be focusing on the .scss syntax. Okay, these are some of the features which Sass provides us. The first one is variable. As you all know, variables are used to store data. Actually, if we have a variable, we can use throughout a Sass file. A variable usually starts with a $sign and it follows a name, $font. And if we want to use a variable, we can simply use it inside the property like this. Okay. And this is my SCSS file. This is my compiled output. Will be going to this. I'm just copy pasting this because of some time limitations. So that gets compiled into this. Okay, and specify. Okay. To add up, what actually Sass provides you is it will throw some errors. Usually CSS never throw syntax errors or something like that. If something goes wrong, then Sass will throw some. It looks something like this. Okay, this is variables. Next, mixin. Actually, mixin is a type of function which is used to group CSS declaration like this. It's a group of CSS. And what, with the help of mixins, we can provide parameters like this. Okay. Usually, a mixin begins with an at mixin keyword. This is the keyword, and followed by the mixin name. It can be anything. If not border radius, if I write XXX, then the mixin name will be XXX. Then after that, we have the parenthesis, and inside that we can. I think it's self-explanatory. And using a mixin, this is the keyword. If we want to use a mixin, say I have a div and I just want to want a 5 pixel border radius, I can simply grab the property, class name. Then inside that I can include my mixin, and this will be my generated CSS. And if I have another say I have another box with 10 pixel border radius, then simply I can pass I can write another class and just pass 10 pixel here. Okay. Sorry. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, if I never specify something, then it will be defaulted to that. Okay. If not specified a default value, then I have shown before some errors. Probably chances are it's better to write a default value. Okay. Then, okay, hope mixins is clear. Yeah. Actually, these are really basic things, just to kickstart Sass. That's what I am trying to do. And functions. The functions begins with an at function keyword, followed by the function name, and inside that it's similar to mixin. What's the difference is we can actually do complex math operations inside function, and another difference is we can only return a value. That's the basic difference between a function and a mixin. Okay, this is a simple example of what a function looks like. At function, this is my function name and just a simple parameter, and I am returning a simple math. Here inside the P element, I am using this is the same function name which we are using here. Then the base font, it's just I am storing it inside a variable for reusable purpose, and the output will be something like this. Okay. And hope you guys are clear. Any questions? Function. Sorry. Actually, function is similar to mixin. The main difference is we are using function to create Yeah, maths like this. It can only return values. Here what happens is, it's just something like variables. Just pass a value here, then get it from here. No. Functions can return a value and yes, use math operations to alter the values. No. It will throw error. It will,
The values can be manipulated. What I understand is mixins are like include. So whatever you have, so all the values will be included with the given parameter. Right. Right.
That is dollar radius into 2. Just try it.
That I'm not sure.
That's like what you are doing in function, right? Yeah. But here you are getting us.
I think it's not possible.
Maybe. No, just make border radius, dollar radius. So this radius into 2, that is what you see. That's all. That's all.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. Evaluating expression. But it's giving you like
Yeah. Some other number?
Radius
In 3.
The key difference is this.
have you this will be wanted to know whether it's static or dynamic.
And then four snippets you have. Snippets are placeholders. They're just placeholders for. It's like hard-coded value where you have what do you say, variables. It can take expression. In fact, I have not tried. I just knew. I was just waiting whether it will work or not. So that was not the condition. Right. Limitation. The key, I believe, it's like a function always returns something, and it's a snippet. It's a snippet where it just evaluates the value, and in place of variables it substitutes, but still it behaves as a snippet. So the idea is in the future, if you say new browser comes like WebKit or Moz, you don't have to run around updating everything. You just update your mixin and then
Cross browser support is really awesome. In future, if Spartan comes with the hyphen Spart something, then I just want to simply write a line of code here. I just not want to go through each and every.
No, I understood. I just wanted to check out whether expression will work or not.
Yeah, that's it. Actually, all your participations and all your suggestions will improve me, my team, the whole community here.
The silly questions many will be having such kind, but they will not ask. That's what. See, there will be many features which is unknown. In some, it may not work also.
Yeah. And okay. This is also a cool feature of Sass nesting. We can nest selectors and properties. Okay. Nesting means chaining CSS, something like that. We don't want to write dot container a something like that. Just before write next thing before the closing curly brace.
Do we need to format or it automatically get formatted? That curly braces.
No need of formatted something. That's not an issue.
See, if we see, we can understand under A it's hover is there.
Yeah.
If everything comes aside, you may get confused. Asking whether that formation is
indentation.
Like control shift F something.
Actually, here indentation is not a problem. We have indented it like this for better readability.
That's what. See,
yeah.
Automatically that happens, or we
no automatic indentations happen. Okay.
No,
we can.
It's a generated thing that is main dot CSS that is it will be automatically indented. Right?
Yeah. It's a. He was talking about that SCSS file, right? Yeah. Actually, we can set up a development environment to work in a way that we just want to write unindented code, and pressing the save button will indent my code. We have options. Sorry. Hope you all can. Okay. And if you want to target a parent element, just use an ampersand. What ampersand does is it will target the parent element. Here, if I want to write a hover, just sorry, I have written it here. Just okay. For targeting a parent element, you can use something like an ampersand symbol. That's nesting in Sass. And moving forward, inheritance. Actually, what inheritance does is it helps to copy properties between selectors. For example, we have a button, a class of dot button, and it's having background color, display color, and properties like that. And I have another button in which the background color is red and my color is white or something. I can just extend the properties of my button element using the at extend keyword. It simply extends the button and we can add the anything which we want to add inside the next thing. And
there is overriding also is there. Overriding of background color.
put it in the demo section itself and start explaining, because backside people are not able to see it and relate. So you can explain it once again.
Sorry. In, mm, at extent, you inheritance in SCSS. That's what we were talking about. And if you want to inherit a CSS property, then we have a keyword called at extent. And what at extent does is it will extend the class which we are giving here, and all the additional properties will be there. For example, I have a button and I want to extend my button. Say I want to change my button background color to something else, my color to something else. I just want to extend my button. Simply write at extend dot button is the class which I want to extend, and the output will be something like this: button, button alert, button success, button alert, button. All these three classes will share the same properties, and the thing which is written after extend will be included as a separate classes, and the properties will be there. Okay, hope you all understand. Okay, that's what inheritance is. And next is partials. Actually, have you guys used anything like smacks, bem, or something like that? No, that's not a problem. What actually partial does is it helps to include small snippets of CSS, SCSS inside another file. For example, I have created a partial called utility. Sorry. I have a partial file called search.scss and another file called utility.scss. Actually, a partial file begins with an underscore like this: underscore utility.scss underscore search.scss. And what we actually does is we'll include this partial file inside the main CSS file like this. I'll use a keyword called at import. Actually, in CSS at import, what at import will do is it will import a CSS file. It will be considered as a different HTTP request. So we never use at import. But in SCSS, when we use at import and we specifies the path to the partial file, And once we are specifying the path to partial files, we never uses the underscore. Here I have the underscore utility underscore. That's a convention. Okay, and once we use inside the main file, we never uses the underscore. And once it gets rendered, all the contents inside the files will be generated inside the single file. Actually, what it helps to modularize our CSS code. We can break our CSS code into small snippets and include it like this.
I have one quick question. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
So can we extend more than one?
Sorry?
Can we extend more than one? And can we extend more than one that classes means dot things?
Yeah.
We are writing only one extend.
No. We can use multiple extends. That's
multiple extends.
Yeah.
And if we have the same dot search text in both, what will happen?
Dot search.
That see, example dot search text in both the these things. Sorry, like border parameter in both the things, or dot search text in both the partial things. No, not overriding.
Yeah, it's just a copying.
No, I'm just asking. See, in the utility and search. Okay. Imagine I have dot search in that also, dot search in both also. So which one will it import?
It will import both.
But it will be ambiguous, right?
Yeah.
Dot search.
Yeah.
Then what will happen? How it will?
Yeah, while writing the CSS, we have to make sure it never happens.
Does it give compilation or something like duplicate is found or
nothing will be thrown.
Yeah. See there at text end.
We'll never throw it on the waste.
What I'm basically asking is there are something called as multiple inheritance, multi-level inheritance. Will that work?
Here, search.txt. It is inside utility.scss, and we have this thing from search.scss. Both will be there, and what happens is that CSS will give prominence to the lowest thing. For example, this will be taken. That will be happening.
Yeah. So this question is from the previous session where you talked about inheritance. With the
inheritance.
We will go back to the.
I said for both also, but.
Here also. Another one can inherit button alert.
Yeah.
Actually, third one is
in button success you can add button alert.
Yeah. Button success instead of action button. And button header.
No, can you add both? I'm curious how it behaves.
This is what happens.
Okay, button success.
Now, what I faced in my project is that overriding of this style sheet has caused a lot of problems. So means the same kind of things I write and the same with the same name if someone writes and we import both. So
It will cause issues.
yeah. So
No
that I
errors or
wanted.
something like that for unfortunately for CSS.
Yeah, if there is a way to find out the duplicate things here or like that, that was my issue. Yeah, thank you. Almost 1 week it took to find out, and it wasted a lot of time.
Yeah, it's a hard thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Initially we built separately. Then we merged it. When we merged, the issues started coming. Bugs.
Let me think. I'll definitely get you a solution. And
solution for that? It's not a bug. Can you hear?
Yep.
Wow. It's not a bug. I don't see this as a bug because intentionally, how do we write before all this? Traditionally, if we have to override a class, what do? We
use an import.
Yes. So it's by design. It is meant to be like that. So it's not a mistake. Probably we have to be careful to avoid it.
Yeah, that's what.
Probably they could just say a warning that there are overlaps.
And one thing which I want to add is, if both of you guys are working on different say modules, keep a module name and use a div.
Yeah, that's what we realized later. That I'm just asking.
Yeah.
See, we don't know whether we'll integrate in future or not. Yeah. Future things.
Actually, we also work as a team. What we does is we always divides our tasks into modules, and we will be giving a particular ID or something like that for the parent
once we
element.
commit a mistake, we'll get to know. Before that,
that's experience. And last but not least, operators. You already seen Sass provides the Sass has the capability to do some complex math, and yeah, these types of operations, additions, multiplications, divisions, all that things are possible using Sass. Okay, so with that, I'm just winding my session. Please take this as a starter session only. We have a lot of capabilities which can be used by using Sass. We have loops, if-else conditions, and lot of things. And to add with, we have Compass, Bourbon, and these are frameworks. Actually, what Compass and Bourbon, all this gives us, it gives the capability to extend your CSS to a next level. Because with all these stuff, we just want to write less code. And if you start using all this stuff, then really it will be a fun. So please take this as a starter session. And thank you.
So my question is it complex? No.
One more same question what I wanted to see. When we are extending two things, we have a parameter called as font in both of it. So will it take first one or second one? Which one will be taken or which one will be overridden?
Right.
Yeah. Means, see, he said you said last one will be taken for that search. Such kind, how is it taken, or is it like last one is taken or first one? The priority, how it is prioritized?
Actually, when browser render your CSS, the last lines will be taken. The output will be shown based on the lines which is there. And
here we have last line, but there at importing, like extending, we have the same. After extending, it will give one or what? Think that a button alert and button both have like color same means different color parameter.
Yeah.
Okay. What will happen at button success?
Button success.
Yeah. It's just like
Button success.
which color will it get?
White color. Like this.
No, have it in button and button alert.
Yeah.
Change in button alert. Change the color thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Background to #F0.
Yeah.
FF0.
Okay. Yeah. Then in button success, remove that background color.
Just want to remove this.
Yeah. Then the button success, which color will be taken? Is it from button alert or button?
The color will be
background
this.
color. I meant background color.
Background color. Background
Yes.
color will be this. For button success.
So it means from the latest one.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
I hope I didn't make it boring by asking many questions.
No, it's good. It's good that we can revisit it again, and people can just understand it better. So that's really good. Okay. So it's Q&A time. You want to ask questions to me or Shiraz? To Shiraz, right?
Anybody who is smart.
Yeah.
Okay. Audible.
Yes. Shiraz, you have to sit here. There's a lot more questions coming.
My question is, I understand what SCSS means, and I understand with the help of that will generate the CSS. Now, are there alternatives to SCSS?
Yeah.
Okay.
We have alternatives like less, LESS, stylus. Then, if you are not comfortable with using all these things, we have CSS Crush. Actually, it's written using PHP.
So my follow-up question is, if let's say, is there any predominant support for any one of these technologies in the future? Will a browser understand SCSS instead of CSS? Because when you are talking about SCSS and CSS, same functionality with less bytes, even a browser can understand, right? So is there a wide support from, let's say, as Google is supporting Angular, Google supporting less or SCSS? In future, let's say Chrome can understand SCSS.
We can hope so. Actually, hope there will be supporting, actually not supporting .scss or something like that. Some of the features which SCSS gives us is now supported in the 4th version, CSS 4 version. Actually, the calc and something like that. For some complex math calculation, we can use calc. And maybe in future, chances are that in one way or another, browsers will support all these stuff. Browsers have to support all these stuff.
One more feedback was, most of us, I don't know, at least in my case, we use Bootstrap. And I'm not sure whether Bootstrap is SCSS or less.
Bootstrap have both SCSS less ported versions. And I think if you look into what here, here
and I understand SCSS to CSS, CSS to SCSS. Is that possible?
CSS to SCSS. I'm not sure. Yeah.
Yeah, in fact, I started learning because of this need only. If you are an Eclipse or Aptana Studio, there are some plugins available where if your CSS is properly formed, then it can auto-generate the SCSS. You might have to explore it. For simple CSS, it works, but for complex, even I've not tried, but it's possible. And before there is another alternate way. It's very traditional, without the need of any preprocessors. It's possible to automate or generate something like this. Can you think of some way where you can have some kind of what do you say, processes which can generate your CSS, or can you think of something? It's very what do you say, a classic way, very old way of doing it. Have you used ant builds? Ant, yeah. So in ant you can just replace your variables. So you just write traditional CSS with some kind of keyword change, say tags, and when you publish or build using regular command line batch processes, your ant file will replace the variables from the property files. So
Is it possible to watch the changes like?
that's not possible. That's what traditional ant needs ant build, regular ant build process. You need Java, just JRE, and you write your script using XML, the build file, and finally you just need a batch file which compiles or runs or publishes your files. Run your batch file.
Run a command gut in my command line. It will automatically do whatever it wants. And if you guys are not comfortable with gut, then we have live reload. What live reload actually does is it will compile your CSS. It will compile your coffee script, anything like that, and the browser will also be reloaded automatically. Whenever something changes, browser will also be reloaded. So we have so much capabilities.
Actually, Compass does that. The plugin for Compass in Eclipse.
Actually, with Compass, I think reloaded is
built-in. Possible. I'm not. I don't know. I'm not aware.
Okay, thank you. So, any more questions? So again, I'm asking, is it complex? No, right? That is, anybody with basic programming knowledge should be able to start adopting SCSS. And what we have to do is, we started with, that is, there was two methods for installation of SCSS in our system. Command line, then Scout we can use. Then once we installed it, what was it? Was asking for a source and target, and we just gave the source and target, and after that, whenever we were making change, and then watching, right? Watching is for the command line. We do not need to do it if we are using Scout. It will automatically watch. Okay. Then whenever we make the change, that is, it will automatically reflect on the others when we save it. And then we learned about certain basic features of programming which we learned earlier. Only thing is, like, CSS started adopting these things. That's all. So I expect everyone to start using preprocessor. It is not like which is best, preprocessor, or wait for something better, or compare these things, but just start using any of these CSS preprocessors in your real work. That's all. Thank you. And also, Coffee DBG is for making friends as well as asking questions, making acquaintance. Okay. And we have a Facebook group called Techno Geeks. I think many of you are already part of that. So how many of you are not part of that? Oh, very good number. So we have a, that is, if you have a barcode scanner, you can scan it and join that page, FB page, or we can provide you. Shiraz, could you please log into Facebook? So it is actually, that is, you can keep updated with the events that is happening around. And there is around 1,200 members who have been part of different sessions that we had taken so far. So you can also come and add your email ID there and give an invite if you do not have a barcode scanner. And Coffee DBG is also for asking questions and getting solutions for the problems that you are facing in the real work. So if you have any questions or if you have any trouble that you are facing, you can also really share with the other community and see that if somebody could help you. Okay. Thank you.